If we can just pause it right there and do those steps, we will see exactly where we are before we even commit. But if you do that out of order, you got a problem. If you commit, now you're engaging. You see what I'm saying? Now you're meeting them, and all the information is in reverse. You're on your way out. From the moment you commit, you're on your way down. But if you do it in steps and figure out, and that's the pausing part. Stop being in such a rush to close the deal. That way you can see all of them.
That's good.
I'm just saying.
That's really good. I've never heard it like that. Because normally, from what I've known and have learned about, interaction and dating has always been the exact opposite. Would you say, and this is something that a lot of women ask and want to know, does a man really know? Because I know you talked about the different steps.
Yes.
Does a man have to go through all of the steps before he actually knows? Or is it true that when a man, because there are some people that I have known, they looked at a woman and they just knew that woman was, and they've been married for 18 years.
Okay.
So is that something that happens to every male, or is that just a every once in a blue moon type of thing? How do you respond to that?
Love at first sight. You mean like that?
Yes.
That's how I got married. I knew when we met. Well, she told me I was going to marry her. So she told me I was going to marry her, and she was going to have my kids. That's what she told me.
Okay.
And I went along with the program. You
went along with the program. Okay.
It's easier to do that in those early years if you get the tools to keep this thing rolling forward. But without the tools, you're just winging it. You're actually practicing on somebody that you truly love. You're actually learning how to communicate, learning how to manage money. You're learning all these things. You don't know how to be a parent. You're learning how to be a parent. All that, if you're willing to do it together, that's where you get the people with the 30 and 40 years. Now, I'm pretty sure there's some lows in there that you'll never hear about, or by the time they get to their 50th year, he's sleeping down the hall and she's sleeping down the hall. But it says we're not going to go anywhere. Because some people like that title, I am married. And we've been married 47 years. And then you ask them what the secret is, living in separate rooms. So they made that happen. So when you meet people, it is the natural thing to meet people. But the issue is that you want to meet them and be with them. But the issue is at 40-something and 50-something, you've got all that experience and situations and circumstances and hurtful things and learn things that stop you, that keep you from just diving in like you used to. A lot of women want us to dive in like we used to, but a lot of us like, no, I'm not diving in like I did before. Because I'm thinking about a relationship. You're feeling about a relationship. So all things go to the wind when you feel good, when you're feeling it, right?
That's good.
But we think about it. We think about what is about to happen. So it's nothing wrong with saying, hey, that's the one for me, because I don't know how many times I heard, he can get it. Isn't that the equivalent? I mean, maybe it's something different. But when women say
I don't know about that.
But when women say that, they're basically saying, I will accept him.
Okay.
If he's saying, I will accept you, you might want to pump those brakes to see what you're accepting. What the book say? You have what you accept.
You have what you accept.
And some people are willing to come with nothing in their pockets and show up and say, hey, I want to be in your life. You're like, yeah, I want to be in your life too. And then later, you find out their pockets was empty. Not so much as empty on money, but empty on relationship IQ. Remember that part? They don't know how to be in a relationship. They just know how to play Xbox.
Right.
And sit on there. Or she knows how to take his money and go do things. Buy a bunch of shoes or cater to her family with his money.
But don't you think that's why it's important, before you actually get into, a marriage, that you should have counseling. You should have the premarital counseling where, and I'm not just talking about, like, I know people that actually they're engaged, and they actually they're in counseling for months. Like, I think what the story that inspired me the most, when I looked at Devon Franklin, for example, him and Megan Good, they were in counseling for to me, I think longer than most relationships were.
Let me give you something. What if you had counseling before you got in a relationship?
That would be good too.
Because now you got your junk and my junk, and we call it a marriage. Now we go into counseling so it can get worked out.
That's actually pretty
But
good.
if you did it before that, then the years of, what'd you say? I don't know how long they were in.
They were in premarital counseling for, maybe 6 months to a year, 6 to 8 months.
Imagine if you had did the work before you did that. So all they did was bring the junk together and work it out. Form this junk so we can be together. You know what I'm saying? Because if they get with somebody else, they have to form that junk so they could be with somebody else. So that's all they did was, if they would have did the work beforehand, then they understood. Because this marriage counseling thing is something that you've already determined you're going to marry this person. So we're just going to twist it around to make it work. That's how I see it. Because, like when I wrote in 75% Man, you need counseling, period. You need to talk to somebody to help you to understand you, so you can have some mark or guideline to figure out where you at.
Now, would you say that would apply to maybe people who have been in relationships already and entering into a new relationship? Or would you say that that type of mindset needs to be done, period, no matter, because when you're young,
yes,
what you want in your 20s, in your 30s, and even your 40s and 50s is totally different.
Yeah.
When you're in your 20s, you're not trying to learn anything. You're just trying to just enjoy the moment.
What if you did learn? What if you did model great relationships in front of your children? What if you did have these conversations? They would be better off. But we don't do that. Case in point, the average woman who has a horrific marriage and she gets the kids, she may say, I'm not going to date until they're in high school or out of high school or till they're in college. That's 15 years on average. What are you doing for those 15 years to prepare you after they're gone so you can have a nice relationship or a loving relationship? If you ain't did no work in them 15 years, it starts that day. That day.
So
that
what
day
you're saying is that the moment that that relationship is severed, if they're married, they should begin to start working on themselves. And if they're interested in getting back into the dating world, this is the part that's missing.
Right.
Because a lot of people, women and men, probably more women, because I don't talk to a lot of men that in that way to have that kind of conversation.
Yes.
But from the women I've talked to, and just in normal conversation, there is no interim class or seminar or book or something to help you in that in-between time. Because most of the time when you get out of a marriage, it's almost like you're just focusing on your business, you're focusing on doing everything else. Sometimes dating just creeps up on some people.
Absolutely, because he saw you.
Yeah.
And he says,
and then
I want to be with you. He pulled out what you said earlier. Hey, what's going on?
And
I like it.
So you're not thinking about, it's not until after you start, and then all of a sudden I feel like then this is where relationship legalism comes in. Because then you get in, then it's like, or your understanding of what you thought a relationship should be like based on your prior relationship. Now you bring that into your new relationship and they have a different perspective that they come in. So now you think you're dating and they're saying we're just talking, and you thinking we're on a road to long term.
See how it comes together?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they're thinking like, we just this. So where do you kind of see yourself kind of playing a huge role in that type of scenario?
This is going to be a long answer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this. That way we won't get cut off in the middle of it. So I'm going to stop it. We'll be right back.